All right, it is 5:45 on Tuesday, June 10th. I would like to open the Board of Selectmen meeting here in the Selectmen meeting room. Just a reminder, this meeting is being recorded by Area 58. And I will start by asking the board to vote to enter into executive session in the Town Administrator's Office pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 830A, for Local 1700 Halifax Mixed Unit, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body. I will entertain that motion.
So moved.
Do I have a second? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Roll call.
Oh, roll call. Roll call for executive, you're right. I need to do a roll call. Bill?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
And I am a yes. We hope it'll last about 15 minutes and hope to be back here around 6 o'clock. Thank you. Good catch, Cody. Awesome. All right, it is 6:28. We are going to reopen the Halifax Board of Selectmen meeting for June 10th. If you guys don't mind, would start the meeting with standing and doing the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right.
Let me grab your packets.
Oh, that's okay. Let's see. So we have folks here that have been waiting. So would the board be okay if we went a little out of order here and jumped down to letter E in the agenda for possible appointments to the Historical Commission? Sure. Is that okay? All right. So we have 4 candidates here, and I see 3 of the 4 here that would like to be appointed to the Historical Commission. Cody, do you have any information on historical, or pretty much?
So I mean, all the talent bank forms are in the
Yep.
packet here.
The forms are in.
So if you
I've
want to
looked
just
at
take
them.
one by one.
Sure. All 3 are longtime, actually all 4 are longtime residents with great histories of giving back to the town of Halifax. I think all 4 would make fantastic additions to our historical commission. I will say to the crew that is joining, we are going to need to get a little bit creative with our historical commission in that we are coming into some tough financial times. And as much as I love our historical buildings, we lose a lot of money on our historical buildings as far as maintenance, as far as upkeep, as far as electricity. So I hope that when you folks, if and when you guys do get on the commission, you consider ideas to help generate maybe some revenue, to help offset some of the costs of the electricity. You know, a lot of times, a lot of the buildings we have dehumidifiers running 24/7 because it's an older building and we want to make sure that we don't have any sort of mold issues. So I will challenge you folks to come up with ways to help us keep our historical buildings on the up and up and succeeding and doing well. So that's my one take there. Is there anything else from the committee? Any comments or anything on any of the candidates? All right, you guys just want to go down the list? I'll entertain a motion to appoint Betsy Hodge to the Historical Commission with a term expiring June 30th, 2028.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Jonathan?
Yes.
My real name's Ann.
Okay.
Betsy's the nickname.
Okay. It says Ann on the card, so we're good. So
I won't be
no, I appreciate that. No, it's Ann. It's Ann here, but I know you go by Betsy, so.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you checking me. Please continue to do so.
Well, this is official.
It is official. It's officially official. All right, and I will entertain a motion to appoint Sandra Nolan to the Historical Commission with a term ending June 30th, 2028.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Sandy. I will entertain a motion to accept Miss Christina Palmer, official, to the Historical Commission, and that is for a term ending June 30th, 2027.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. And finally, I will entertain a motion to appoint Sue Basile to the Historical Commission with a term ending June 30th, 2027.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I will sign these for you, and we'll get them down to Sue, the town clerk. You can pick them up tomorrow.
I usually will send a letter, but if you guys want to, come in tomorrow, and then I'll get a letter to you guys. I know you guys have a meeting next week, and you guys want to make sure that you're sworn in. So, yeah, I'll get them down to Sue tomorrow morning. Okay?
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for your, yeah. Sorry to make you wait. I know. Yeah.
No, we had a nice chat.
Oh, good. We heard you through the wall. You guys were having a good time.
We didn't hear anything you guys.
I hope not. I saw you with the glass on the wall over there, Johnston. Awesome. Thanks, guys. All right, we'll go back to the regular order, I guess, of the agenda. If we want to jump into warrants and commitments. Tom, do you want to handle those, or Bill, you want to try those out?
Sure.
All right.
I move to affirm approval of the following warrant and commitment. Payroll warrant number 108 for $471,908.85. Vendor warrant 109 for $4,307,608.86. Vendor warrant 110 for $101,434.83. Withholding warrant number 111 for $161,720.60. Mobile home park fee number 6 for $5,160.
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. Next up, Bill.
I move to approve the following warrants. School warrant number 112 for $106,886.21. Vendor warrant number 114 for $339,028.76.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimous. All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve the selectmen minutes for May 27th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimous. All right. Town Administrator Search Committee. Cody, you got info on that one?
Sure. So, as you know, we hired Community Paradigm to conduct the recruitment. I believe Bernie Lynch has reached out to you three individually to get your feedback on what you're looking for in the next town administrator. I'll be assisting him with the drafting of the template for the position statement. So I've updated that with everything new and updated in Halifax. He got that back this afternoon. And, I think it's the board's decision on if you want a screening committee or not. You typically do have some sort of screening committee. Halifax did one when I was hired previously. And the only reason I have it on here tonight is if you do want to do a screening committee and you wanted to include members at large, you want to give some time to post it and allow people to apply so you can appoint them. The idea is if we can get this job posting out within the next week or two, you typically have it run about a month, and while that's posting, you guys can get that screening committee finalized, and then as soon as those applications are due, they can start reviewing and start the preliminary interviews. So it's really, I guess, the thought of, do you want a screening committee? And if you do you want members at large? And that way there we can get it advertised and you guys can decide who's going to be on that committee.
All right. I'll ask the board. What is the board's choice in something like this?
After speaking to Bernie, I see both sides of it, but I think that I would lean towards, in fact, establishing a screening committee. We talked at length about what that screening committee might look like, how many people, from where, and he expressed great benefit potentially in having somebody from the town, at least one, if not two members of the town at large. So I would encourage an at-large application pool to be presented to us, maybe not be bound by it,
No, you're not.
but at least to accept applications for interest.
Okay.
I think it would be foolish not to include everybody who's available in the process. So I would encourage A, a screening committee, and B, a posting for talent. You're looking for talent bank applications coming in?
Yeah, so what-
Yeah, I would encourage that. That's,
That's exactly what we would do, and you don't even need to decide on. You don't even need to make that decision at this point. I think it's more because if you say, we want a screening committee, let's say in a month, you say, okay, or next meeting, we're going to have a screening committee. You decide at that point you want 5, and of that 5, you want to do a member of the finance committee, you want to do the moderator, the town clerk, whatever, and then 2 members at large. Now you have those forms, and you can look and say, okay, well, we have 5 people. We want to interview them all. We really like these 2. We're going to appoint you. We only want 1 member at large. So, we had 5 great people, but we really like this person. But I think you don't need to make that decision yet. But typically, you probably see 5 to 7. 7's on the higher end, but 5's a good good number.
Yeah, I think just including it, just again, it's the quickest way to say it. I think including everybody as a possibility is smart. And see
Yeah.
who's interested and available.
I agree. When it comes to town employees, I did speak with Bernie as well. Is there a thought on including folks that are elected versus appointed? Because there is the idea of, do you want somebody essentially helping select their boss? You know, so if we do consider folks on the town side, do we want to look at maybe appointed committees? Do we want to look at elected? You know, what are the roles we want to include in this committee? I mean, I just spitballing. I had maybe a member of finance committee. I had maybe our town clerk. She's elected.
Town accountant.
Town accountant. Or
Do you want to do your accountant? Because the accountant reports directly to the town
directly to the
administrator.
So they'd be picking their boss. I was thinking maybe your treasurer collector. You know, that's an elected position as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of outside that scope. So that would be 3 folks right
Who was
there.
in the search committee for you, Cody? Do you remember?
There was a good amount. There was 7. Were you, Frank? Were you on that one?
Frank was on
There
there.
was,
Both chiefs, I believe.
no, just the
No,
one, the police
Mike
chief.
wasn't-
Oh,
wasn't on.
Mike wasn't there yet.
Sandy Nolan,
Yeah.
Sue,
Mm-hmm.
Candace Niffen,
Yeah.
myself, and maybe Candace's husband, maybe as well.
Was it Mel Conroy?
Maybe it was.
It was another. I thought it was another
Gentleman.
citizen. Yeah.
And that was pretty much it.
That was it.
Yeah.
But Sandy was on there.
Yeah, Sandy
Yeah.
was on it, because it was a little bit of a different time then too.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yeah.
she was kind of the acting
Town administrator.
at the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Well, we don't have to decide
So
right
just,
now
yeah,
what it
no.
looks like, but
Yep. I think we definitely should solicit
I
town
agree.
impact forms.
Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
Sue did a real good job of managing and running that
Mhm.
at
Yep.
the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do we need a motion, Cody, at all, or?
No, it's
No?
fine. No,
Okay.
you're not formalizing anything. We'll get a posting out tomorrow
Great.
saying we're accepting talent bank forms for the
Great.
town administrator search committee.
Excellent.
there should be a lot of talent, just as an FYI, there should be a lot of talent bank forms coming in
Hopefully.
with openings in the finance
Yeah.
committee, the planning
Planning
board, the school
board,
committee, and now
school
this.
committee.
Well, we haven't
Yeah.
had any yet.
So
No. Let's change that.
I saw that.
So deadline for
Yeah.
those is June 30th though. So they're not on a rolling basis. So we're keeping them all. And then once the 30th hits, we'll distribute them as necessary.
Gotcha.
We just want to give everyone an equal opportunity to, as long as it's in by the deadline, to
Yeah. Absolutely.
be appointed.
Cast a wide net, right? Sure. Do we want to get into, Cody, I know it's a committee, but can we get into the use of an interim at this point, or?
Yeah, I think
can we
that
not
this
get into
falls
that
under the
tonight?
town administrator search.
Okay.
So, I had asked Bernie to start, getting some feelers for interims. He hasn't found anything yet. But, and I'm sure Bernie kind of talked about this with you guys,
He
but
did.
you're looking at a few month process, on the best side. You probably, if I were to give my estimate, you're looking at maybe a November start, for your next permanent town administrator, depending on what you find. If you find someone who's been a town administrator or even an assistant, you're looking at likely at least a 60-day notice. So if you extend an offer in August, which is progressive, but I think you can do it, you're looking at September, October, sometime November.
Yeah.
That's and my last day in the office is July 8th. I'm taking a couple weeks vacation. So that's a long time to not have,
Anybody.
steady leadership in the day-to-day operations. Staffing's lean around here anyways. So it's not like you have a lot of opportunity to, someone to step up. We don't really have the in-house experience for someone to step up at this point. Sandy was great,
Yeah.
but Sandy
Sandy's
retired.
not here.
And it's also a lot of work. It's a big job. So it's probably a good idea to start considering an interim. And how you want to do that, Jonathan. I know you've had some conversations.
Yeah, I was just wondering what the board's thoughts are as to posting the interim position or just having the board assign it. And it's a pro and con to both of those. If we post it, we might get maybe some more applications, but that's going to stall the process out. That's going to cost us, I would say, at least a month to get somebody in here. Or if the board wants to, assign someone just in the interim, that I feel like will be able to have us hit the ground running a little quicker. and not lose that valuable time where Cody, essentially has about a month left. So that's kind of what I was hoping the board might have a take on, whether or not to post and lose time, or if the board feels comfortable just appointing an interim town administrator.
You could, and again, it's progressive, but if the board felt comfortable, you could do both simultaneously, right? So you could put out feelers, continue to put out feelers with Bernie. We could do a posting tomorrow, 2 weeks, make it 2 weeks, and we could see what we get, if anything, prior to the next meeting. Just trying to give you as many options as you can.
So absent a post or absent a search, I'm not sure who's gonna be.
It's really just putting out feelers as far as people within the. You're not finding someone. I hope you don't. Just choose someone who hasn't done this before, right? Particularly for an interim role.
Usually retired.
You need them to come in, know what they're doing, and they're not making huge changes. They're steering the ship.
No waves.
To dealing with union issues, procurement, budget. As we have a new financial team here, so we need someone who has some financial knowledge. So things like that, just a resource for the staff and the team.
I kind of like that idea. Does the board like the idea of maybe putting something out tomorrow with the idea of collecting things in time for our meeting in 2 weeks?
But again, not being bound to anything, but throwing feelers.
You're not
out.
bound to anything.
See what
Right.
comes in.
Right.
Sure.
You could review, you could say, okay, we didn't get anything, or you could say, we got some really good applicants, but you know what, we also got this name from so-and-so, and we want to bring them in. And there's nothing.
Let me ask you though, Cody, if we do put it out, pardon me, if we do put it out for the 2 weeks and Bernie says, hey, this guy is ready and can do now, are we then tied though to those 2 weeks?
No, but I don't think you'd act before 2 weeks.
Okay.
I mean, we don't have a regular meeting schedule.
Yeah,
And also, you don't want to bring someone. It's my opinion. It's your decision, certainly.
sure.
But you don't want to bring someone on board for an interim for much of an overlap with me. It creates an awkward situation here. Who are people reporting to? Who's the boss?
Sure.
So if you're bringing in an interim, there's the opportunity for a couple days of overlap. Yeah. At most, I'd say a couple days. Really, if you bring someone in, they know what they're doing. I'm going to be available. Questions, I can give them the overview, but you really don't want too much of an overlap.
Yeah.
It's creates an awkward situation for everyone.
A lot of rock, paper, scissors.
Right.
Yeah. All right. What's the board's flavor?
Put it on for 2 weeks?
2 weeks? Okay.
Yep, we'll get it out tomorrow.
Awesome. Motion, or that's okay?
Yes, a motion, and also what are we thinking for a salary range for the interim town administrator?
Do we go step one of that pay?
No.
No.
What do you tell us? What's the range?
Yeah, I mean, I think you probably, if you wanted to take what my salary is and divide it by 40, and that could be the hourly. Typically, you do hourly rates for for this type of work. That puts you. I don't know what it is right now, but that probably put you in the range. Plus or minus.
Are we doing 20 hours a week or 40 hours a week?
That's something you can decide with the candidate. I think if you find someone good, who has the experience, and you'll get by with 20 hours a week. But if you find someone who's like, hey, you know what, I have the time and they seem good and they're willing to commit a little more, then maybe you bring them in a little bit more. You gotta. One of the things to remember too is unlike a full-time employee who's exempt, like myself, you're paying them now for every meetings, right? So if they go to a selectmen meeting tonight, that takes out of their time that they would be during the day. So even 40, if you're paying them 40 hours, they're not going to be here 40 hours. Town hall hours.
Is there harm in providing a range, plus or minus this amount per hour?
No, definitely not. No, I mean you could do a range of $75 to $100 an hour.
Let's not get caught up in the semantics of it. Let's get the applicant in here, and depending on what the applicant's qualifications are and the appetite of the enthusiasm of the board, that's what I would say the range would be.
Do we have to put a range?
We can just put competitive.
Competitive? Okay.
Competitive salary.
Put it there. Okay. Yeah.
But again, I don't want to be bound to anything. Let's
Yeah.
keep every option open and
No, it's a good idea.
see what comes.
Okay.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for the board to okay the approval of making a post for an interim town administrator with a salary to be determined to be closed 2 weeks from today.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimous. Okay, let's move down the agenda. Proposition 2.5 committee.
Selectman Seelig, you had initially requested that this be on the agenda a couple weeks ago. There was a question of, what exactly you were looking for. So you had done a lot of research and you provided me with some examples. And based on that, I did draft a committee charge draft here. So the board has it. It's the printed, it's not in the packet. It's the
Okay,
printed paper
the printed
I,
paper.
gave you.
I'm like, where the heck is it?
Oh, here you go.
Thank you, sir.
And basically, what it does is it establishes an override study committee appointed by the Board of Selectmen. I have it as a 5-member group. Again, this is a draft, so you guys can do what you want with it. But really, they have 9 main goals. The first is to utilize the town's long-range financial forecasts and budget projections and determine the structural gap for fiscal year 27 and beyond. Examine school enrollment projections and costs associated with enrollment growth. Assess options for the implementation of efficiencies and best practices within the town departments. Examine potential non-override revenue sources, including costs, feasibility, potential savings, and other impacts of potential adoption and implementation. Benchmark town and school programs, expenditures, and revenues with comparable municipalities. Compile data that shows the impact that increased taxes and fees will have on taxpayers and residents. With input from the town administrator and school superintendent, prioritize programs or other expenditures for funding, analyze the impact to town and school programs with failure of an override recommendation, and provide a report to the Board of Selectmen and Finance Committee by January 31st, 2026. The idea is to utilize, allow this group to dig into an override, not just the overall financial, but the override itself, and provide provide the information to the community of what does it mean, what are the impacts, show we've exhausted all other efforts, and have the information available on the override.
Well, I want to thank you, Cody, because I came at the board last meeting kind of as a hot mess. But I did my research, I found stuff, and you actually put it together and made sense. So kudos to you there, I appreciate it. And I don't know about the rest of the board, but the ability to call for an override falls solely on the Board of Selectmen. So I think this is a great way for us to make a very informed decision if and when we get to that point next year. I think everything in this scope right here makes sense. I think as you look down at the membership, I think the membership makes sense. And I just think it's another tool for us to be able to make an informed decision on a possible override next year, and also maybe educate the public as well throughout the process. So that was my idea behind it. Again, Cody, I think you hit the nail on the head. Appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see what the board wants to do.
I think you've done a great job. I'm for it. I think it's equally important that we understand it, but be able to educate the masses at large if and when we get that far. It's likely, it's not guaranteed, but it's likely that we'll be there. The more background that we have and the town has and the committee members have, just makes us all that more informed and able to explain it, pros and cons to the public. So
Yeah.
I think I would be in favor of implementing something like this.
Phil, what do you
I'm
think?
definitely in favor of this.
Awesome. All right, great.
The membership, okay, so the membership now is 5 members, which is a member of the Board of Selectmen, Finance Committee, a member of the School Committee, a member of the Silver Lake School Committee, and then 1 member at large.
Yeah, it makes sense. And that way, if your quorum's only 3, right? So, that's the problem. If you make a big committee like that and you have a lot of folks that can't make it, you can't have meetings. So I think 5 is a number that makes sense.
Good here.
Yeah.
So my only comment would be if you approve this, you may want to wait to advertise the opening for the at-large. I'm just thinking of all these other openings, and I don't want, someone may view this as, it may get pushed to the bottom of the list, and you may not get as many applicants or qualified applicants as you may. So maybe wait till July 1st.
Wait till July,
Yeah.
put it out there.
And then make it due the end of July. That still gives you start meeting in August.
Yep.
Because the planning board, the finance committee, all those are all due June 30th.
June 30th,
So
yeah.
let's just,
Hold off.
This has the most amount of lead up time anyway, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Good. All right. So
Thank you both.
I'll entertain a motion to create the Town of Halifax Override Study Committee as listed here in your handout.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimous. Thank you, Cody. All right, reassign Board of Selectmen liaisons. Here we go. Dun, dun, dun. All right, so as part of being a member of the Board of Selectmen, you are a liaison to different departments across the town, both in the town and outside the town as well, as far as entities that the town interacts with. So we have our list here. Sorry, yeah, it wasn't pulled up. Yep, there we go. Sorry. I'm technically challenged. Yeah.
Right there.
Right here we go. All right, so we have the list here, guys, and essentially we can just go down the list. We try to make them as even as we can so that not one member is kind of carrying a heavy load than the others. So yeah, we can just,
So your first one is going to be the Cable TV Advisory Committee.
Okay.
The first, the Town Administrator serves as ADA, so whoever the next Town Administrator is, and then we don't really have this Building and Facility Needs Committee anymore.
okay. So I have been part of the Cable TV Advisory Committee. We actually have a meeting scheduled for this week. I'm okay with staying on if you guys are all right with that.
Go for it.
All right.
You got it.
Capital Planning Committee. Anybody want to throw their name in for Capital Planning Committee?
Sure.
It's not a heavy lift. I mean, it's a few times a year. You're reviewing all the capital requests and making a recommendation ultimately for town meeting for funding.
Okay. Cemetery, Steve Hayward. Chief Procurement Officer, obviously Cody, that will hopefully be our new town administrator. Do you think we can't really put somebody in there in the interim, can we?
You can't. You have to be certified
Right.
through the state as
So-
Massachusetts Certified Purchasing and Procurement Officer.
Yep.
So that's,
So that one's a no, that stays, and then Finance Committee, I think that stays as well, right?
Yep.
Financial Management Team,
you can skip that one.
okay, we'll skip that one. I have been with the Fire Department for a while. I'll stay on with that if you guys are okay with that. All right. Chief Witham is the Halifax Emergency Management Liaison, makes sense. I have also been a part of the Fireworks Committee. I'll stay with that if you guys are all right.
Sure.
Yep.
Tom, you've been with Highway. Is that okay? You want to stay there?
Sure.
Okay. I also have done holidays in Halifax. I'll stay on if you guys want.
Sure.
MBTA Advisory Board. I've been the alternate there. I think John was our main person there. Is there anybody on the board that'd like to do that?
How much of that is left? MDTA Advisory Board, is that still an ongoing?
So that's different. That's actually because we're part of the MBTA. We have this is separate from the whole zoning part of it.
Yeah.
This is just the MBTA. If you have a station or are serviced by MBTA, your community can send a representative to this advisory committee. Yeah,
How often do they meet?
monthly I think.
I think it's once
They
a
might
month.
take the summer off, but they
Is
typically
it
meet
like,
monthly.
I don't mean to, is
It's
it,
a waste of time if you want me to be honest with you.
is it
He's
during-
out the door. He can
Is
say
it
stuff
during the
like that.
day, is it at night? Like, what's-
It's usually, I don't know. I just got an email. It's good for the communities that have a larger presence with the MBTA.
With the MBTA.
It really is minimal.
Do we need two then?
So you typically they ask for a main and then a
Main
delegate,
and then an alternate.
like an
Okay.
alternate.
All right.
If not, someone else wants to do it.
Okay. I'll stay on if you want Tom as the alternate. If you can't make it, just let me know.
I can't make it.
That's early. I call shenanigans, Tom. All right, Memorial Day celebration.
I think you all usually attend that, so I don't. you don't-
Yeah, I think we can all skip that. Ponds at Lake issues. I have done that in the past, but I will entertain if anybody wants to jump on and take on the lakes. By all means, if not, I'll stay
Are there
on.
meetings?
Yeah, there's a meeting once a month-ish, or it might be once a quarter.
I think you talk about the watershed.
Yeah. So there are meetings, but they're Zoom.
So it primarily, I believe this came about when we were having like the treatment of the pond was needed more regularly.
Yeah.
Now we're on top of it. So we've actually, thanks to Senator Brady, he's gotten funding for us year after year for the monitoring and treatment of the ponds. So we have a monitoring contract. I can't think of the name of the firm right now, but they monitor it for us regularly. And then if anything pops up where they think we're going to need a treatment in the near future, they let us know and then we plan for it. So there's not really a ton going on right now.
I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Ponds at Lake, Tom.
I
Okay.
think I've actually sat in a couple of their Zoom calls.
Probably, yeah.
All right, OCPC. So that traditionally was John. I served as the alternate delegate. I will say I think I made a lot more of the meetings than John. No offense to our former chair. But that's a good board too, if anybody wanted to try to learn the lay of the land as far as agencies that are at the town's disposal to help us with transportation, to help us with business, to help us with essentially all kinds of different things. Cody, what's the best way to describe OCPC?
So it's a regional planning
Yeah.
agency, right? So they do a lot of the planning things. They oversee master plans and traffic studies, corridor studies, economic development. It's one of the. I don't know if
And
it's
how often do they meet?
monthly.
They're once a month. They have two meetings. One is a financial meeting, but unfortunately, that's always a Board of Selectmen night. So they know we can't make that. So it would be a once a month Zoom meeting. There is a once a year in-person meeting retreat that they host. That one year, Cody, it was in Hanson. And then I think another year it was at their headquarters in Brockton. So once a year, they do like to include everybody and bring everybody in, almost as like a celebration. But other than that, it's a Zoom call once a month.
I'll do it.
All right? I think I can stay on the alternate, Bill. If you can't make it, let me know.
Can't
Already been said. All right, Plymouth County Advisory Board Representative. Tom, you were the alternate. I think John was the representative there. Cody, can you walk us through what you think the Plymouth County, what's the lifting on that one?
It just is revolves around the county government. They don't meet monthly. It might be quarterly.
I think, there wasn't that much going on there.
No, I think it's quarterly. There's not a ton going on. I mean, there was a little bit more going on when they had the influx of the ARPA funds, right? They were kind of meeting on that. But I can say Frank Basler, who's the county administrator, and Tom O'Brien, the treasurer, they've been trying to do a lot more to get more involved and be a greater asset to the communities within Plymouth County. So I know they are looking to do more and collaborate and create regionalization efforts more. So there may be opportunities for that.
Is that like a once a month Zoom?
No, I believe it's quarterly.
Quarterly?
It's
Okay.
it's definitely not once a month.
Okay.
I'll do that one.
Okay, Bill. All right, so you're the alternate, Tom. So Bill, if you can't make it, let Tom know.
Okay.
That was your softball right there. All right, Town Government Study Committee. Tom, you've been doing great with that. You want to stay with that?
Yeah, but mine says you're on that.
Town, really?
Yeah, that was a mistake. I
You
updated
can do it
that.
if you want.
No,
Yep,
no,
no,
heck
no,
no.
it's-
Mine has you, so
Yeah, it was a mistake.
You're the guy.
In the first print.
you're the guy. Traffic Safety Committee, that's you as well. And then Zoning Bylaw Review Committee. Cody, is that usually the chair, or can that be anybody?
That can be anybody.
Okay. Any interest of the board? I'm just trying to see what the numbers are here. 1, 2, 3,
How
4.
often do they meet?
So that's a big undertaking.
Eight,
You know,
9,
we've met for the past almost 2 years, and Frank's on that group, and it's been a lot of work.
A lot of work.
And,
Yeah.
and the committee,
Well, a lot of work's done.
yeah,
Yeah.
the committee had decided to hold off, pass over the proposed zoning amendments due to some concerns that came up at, at the 11th hour.
Planning board.
But, the goal, I believe, is to try to meet again over the next year, address some of those concerns, and hopefully bring it forward next town meeting. So, but again, a lot of the work's done, but there is still some work that needs to be done. It's not like one of these other groups where you just show up
Yeah.
and meet. It's
Right.
definitely a little more involved.
You have
A
more
little bit of
homework.
cleanup work needs to be done, some
Okay.
adjustments need to be made based on the community feedback,
Mm-hmm.
and a couple of things that the attorney has brought to light that
Mm-hmm.
we need to kind of square ourselves back up with. But it's really, it's in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
A lot of work was put into that.
How often do you meet, Frank?
We were meeting once a
Sometimes
month.
monthly, yeah.
Once a month? And now,
In
what?
an in-person meeting, we did it, because John preferred it that way.
How much lifting was the selectman representative? Does it fall a lot on John, or is it a group effort?
Not necessarily. Cody had a big input. The building commissioner had a lot of input. He was a big help, Ed was, when he came on board. but I say a lot of that is done. It's just a few things left over from the in-person meetings we had, the forums that need to be reviewed and taken care of.
It's probably gonna be more, public outreach, probably over the next, the latter 6 months of the fiscal year.
Okay.
And that's probably the biggest thing, is trying to public outreach and get buy-in from the community prior to town meeting.
Yeah, put a positive light on something that needs to be done, and it's not the big dark,
Secret, behind the scenes
Right.
thing. Okay.
there's no dark secrets in there. It
Okay.
is what it is,
I could, I'll jump on if you guys are okay with that then. All right.
And it's a good committee, a good group of people in there, if they keep it the same, that, put the effort in. Need another at-large, probably need another
Okay.
at-large citizen in there.
Okay.
The other one is
Yep.
basically Rude Towel.
Mhm. All right, so that pushes us down to the union contracts here. We have a new one, clerical library. I put myself in with that one, but that one actually was just negotiated, and now it's not library, Cody, right? It's just clerical. So, if somebody wanted to entertain that one should be good for the next 3 years. So, Bill, if you want to jump on that one, or, because I'm saying, looking here, I think I have school doesn't do a lot. School is handled by the school committee. But I have firefighters, so I can stay on that if you guys want, or I can hop off, it's up to you. The other one, Bill, I think, not to speak for you, but I think with your experience, you on the officers and sergeants
That's
and
fine,
police,
yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
that's a layup, I think. All right, and then Tom, are you okay with
Stay where I am,
staying with mixed unit and with highway and cemetery?
unless somebody else has a preference. I'm
No?
amenable to crowd.
No, I think that works. And I guess I'll stay with clerical, not library anymore, just clerical. All right, and then Cody, whistleblower statute?
No, that's fine, I take care of that.
You take care of that. Okay, you got a whistle ready to go. All right, great. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. That wasn't as painful as I thought it was gonna be. All right, we've already done E. Cody, we're down to F, vacation carryover request for highway.
Yeah, this is just an annual thing. The way that the highway contract is written, if they want to they can carry up to 40 hours of vacation, but they just need the select board's approval. So it's not anything above and beyond. This is just the typical
Yep.
40 hours. So
Yep.
it's more of just a housekeeping item.
Do we have to name them here?
You can just say as provided.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the employee request for vacation for the 4 employees listed here on the handout.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimous. All right, we're down to old business, town administrators update, staffing and town operations.
Yes, so we are actively recruiting for several key positions. The library director, we have an opening in the fire department. We've for a full-time member. We have another member who just gave their notice, so we'll have 2 openings over there for full-time. That's a really tough positions to fill right now. We can't find career firefighters. Our firefighters need to be paramedic certified also. So it's a challenge out there now. And then we're also looking for an administrative assistant in our assessor's office. And then, as we mentioned earlier this evening, we have very, very unusual, but we have several elected positions that have resigned midterm, and due to the nature of it's after an election, it's basically upon the board of selectmen to make those appointments. So we have advertised for a school committee seat. That's a joint appointment with the school committee and the board of selectmen. We have advertised for a planning board seat. Those talent bank forms are due June 30th, so your first meeting in July, we'll look to probably have all those people in. You interview everyone, and then you can make your decisions on who to appoint. We also have a finance committee midterm opening, as Mr. Smith is now on the board, so he had to resign his position on the finance committee. So yeah, just busy time as far as those things. We're actively getting to the end of the fiscal year, so closing out all of our financials. Making sure departments are getting in their bills for the fiscal year, making sure that everything's tidied up. We're conducting interviews for our assistant town accountant later this week, so hopefully get someone on board. So that department will be fully staffed, knock on wood, for the first time in a year. Yeah, just trying to keep up with the day-to-day things and tightening things up as I prepare for my departure.
Cody, if I could circle back to the appointments, I know it's going to be a joint situation with school committee, but for FinCom and planning board, is this an instance where the candidates are brought before those entities first to get their recommendation and then brought to us?
That's what the town has historically done,
Yeah.
and I would imagine that you'd follow that same practice.
Yep.
So, but again, you're not bound
Correct.
to do that.
Correct.
It's a good, it's a good practice. You want to make
Yeah.
sure that they think that this person's going to fit
I
in
would-
with them. But if for some reason there were a stellar candidate that they did not recommend, nothing precludes you from saying,
Go in a different route.
we
Yeah.
think we want to do this. But that's certainly, so come June 30th, we'll share that with, these are the people interested. We'd ask that you bring them in, and we'll ask that they bring everyone in. We don't want them to pick and choose.
Sure.
Everyone should get an equal opportunity at this. And then they'll make a recommendation to you. School committee's a little bit different, where it's a joint appointment. So we'll actually look to have a joint meeting with the school committee sometime in July, where you can jointly interview applicants, and then you will make a joint appointment to the school committee.
So knock on wood, we get some good qualified candidates. Our window closes the 30th. What do you think the timeline is to get those positions filled, ballpark?
Well, it all depends when the groups meet. Right?
Okay.
So I've already been in touch with the superintendent on getting that joint meeting scheduled for mid-July, hopefully.
Okay.
As far as planning, I'll have to look at the calendar on when their meeting falls.
So
Having
after
those
theirs.
people in, and then finance committee meetings, they're pretty good. They'll meet the 7th, I think, actually, the day before the 8th,
Okay.
and can look to have those people in.
Excellent.
Are you here on the night of the 8th? Is that your last?
I am. So
That's it.
I'm taking the day off on the 7th.
Okay.
And I'm coming in for the 8th to, so I'm here for the meeting.
And that's
And
it.
that'll be, yes,
Yeah.
that will be my,
Got it.
yep. And then I'll be on vacation.
Good. Just a quick update too. I had a meeting yesterday for the Silver Lake Regionalization Study Committee. It was very productive. We came up with some questions and concerns. I solicited them at our last meeting. I think we've at least got us going in a good direction as far as what people want to know financially, kind of the whole guts of the whole situation. It's a great committee. We have an all-star team from Kingston, Halifax, Plimpton. Again, I don't think anybody on the committee is thinking heavily on one side or the other as far as regionalization goes. We're definitely in the data collection process right now. We will have the Collins Center in, I believe it's the 18th, next week, for them to make a presentation as to what the scope of their study will be. And then I promise to keep you guys informed and the public informed. But again, if anybody has any sort of questions or concerns, feel free to send them our way. And yeah, it's exciting. At least with the upcoming financial troubles that I feel like most of our communities are having, it'll be nice to at least somewhat kick the tires on this to see if it's something that the community wants to do. It will take a while. We're looking at, at least a year plus to kind of put this to fruition. There will also be some open forum events that folks can come, have their questions answered, that kind of thing. So just wanted to give you guys a quick update on that as well. All right, if there's no other business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimous. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Frank.